How did you come up with this new style?
Well, over COVID, I was playing with new ideas because I wanted to be able to produce pieces that were actually quicker to be able to produce and also introduce a lot of colour. So, yeah, it's the combination of about 2 years work over COVID. In fact, I get asked that question quite a lot, like how did you come up with that new style? So I'll tell you, I take you over to the iPad and I can show you the process of how I actually did that. Cool, so let me show you my process and how I got to like what eventually became this style. So I would always paint in like kind of a black and white posterized style. So that would mean that I would have paintings that would look a little bit like this. So you can massively see where in each of the parts there's like a different shade in each line, like in each section. And that's how I'd normally paint a painting. And I was like, cool, I want to simplify it, make it more modern, make it more contemporary. So I was trying to rack my brain as to like how I could do that, which led to me kind of like, I created like a wire frame for what it is that I'm actually trying to do. That wire frame then led to something that looks like that, which is basically me drawing around each of the different sections. So if you can see the difference just in between there. And then I was like, cool, well, how can I make it a bit more modern again from there? And that led to me just kind of playing with it a little bit more and segmenting the different parts, which led to kind of this. And so this is probably a good example of something that didn't really work, but kind of worked, if that makes sense. So all those pieces, I would like keep the general structure of the face, but then add in these different sections. And I've just been playing with that idea ever since. So you can see that some areas aren't coloured in. This particular piece, the eyes are too dark, so the colours don't quite work, if that makes sense. So this is very much like a prototype and just something I was having to play with. For those crypto heads, I don't know if anyone's even seen Ethereum, but here's just like another example of like how it would start out early doors, like roughly getting like the highlights in and the dark bits as to like what the face would then look like. So you'd have something like that, if that makes sense. And then quickly that kind of evolved, and when you kind of start to understand what colours work with each other, that then led to kind of put in, so in the spectrum of colour, I would match the colours that are kind of together next to each other. So purple goes into blue, blue goes into green, and then here you've got like green into yellow, do you know what I mean? So when you look at it, although it's quite blocky, it kind of feels like it's right. And then I wasn't happy with those colours, so I wanted to be a little bit more muted. And then that led to these sets of paintings. So that was the Kobe, that was just finishing off there. And I know, well, to me it looks quite simple, but actually to get to that point, that has taken literally, months and months to be able to get the colours quite how I wanted to, and just where to leave the negative space, like what parts of the piece to leave out, and what parts to like kind of colour in and stuff. So we've kind of gone for this whole kind of main face coloured in, and then at the moment I've got kind of 3 that I have finished to the point which I'm pleased with. So you've got Michael Jordan, Kobe, and then LeBron James, and obviously LeBron James is the one that sold. I think to kind of summarise how I ended up getting to this style, I started with a black and white posterised effect. I knew I wanted to add some colour, and I knew I liked the posterised part of painting. That led to me creating the wireframe and adding colour. And then through trial and error of trying all different colour combinations, I've currently landed on this kind of colour combination, which I'm going to be using for portraits going forward. So maybe that can come kind of synonymous with my style, but for now, that's the colour scheme we've gone for. Basically, for artists out there that are looking to like build their style or like transition or whatever, I just think it's like, just take some time basically to like work on what it is that you want to do. And there is no right science or whatever. This is like trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, till I stumbled upon something that I quite liked. there is no like kind of maths as to how you get to the style that you want to actually achieve. For example, this at the moment is what I'm going to be doing, like portraits in this kind of style. However, what I am going to go on to is products and goods and items. So this is actually something that I'm really looking forward to kind of turning into a painting. And so what I'll do is, again, create a wireframe of the actual object. This is the actual object in the background here. Then I've created a wireframe and then coloured in some of it, sort of thing. And I think that will look really cool, because what I'll do here is with spray paint, this is all going to be like different colours of red. I'm going to fill in the emblem there as well. But I think that will look quite striking as a piece for someone's wall, in a kitchen or whatever. Like I can just see that much more simplistic style is a lot more contemporary, and I can just see it kind of working at home.
If an artist was, say tomorrow, I want to develop my style, but where do you think they should just start off with? What's the first thing they should be doing, listening to you?
I think if you're an artist just working on your style, I know it's literally not what you want to hear, but it's just a case of practicing, experimenting. What I did was take a lot of inspiration from Instagram. I took a little bit of this person's style that I liked. I took a little bit of I took the color palette maybe from here. I took like the simplistic style of that artist, and then I've tried to merge them into something that I like. But what I will say is that I found it really, really stressful trying to work that out, because it wasn't easy. I know, weirdly enough, this kind of style looks really easy, but to get to that point where it's something that I was happy with, even this isn't in my head what it's going to look like, but I can now see it, and that's only through trial and error. So this style on my iPad has then led from what is a digital version and has now made its way onto canvas, which I'm actually really pleased about. And I just love how kind of striking it is. But what I would love is to hear from you guys what you think, because it is so different from my normal style. So you definitely have to let me know in the comments. And also, if you haven't watched my latest vlog, then definitely go up there and have a watch.